I guess a question for me and many people dealing with this topic is, what are some appropriate ways that people can breach the story of how you became a widow, or are talking to you about this subject?
One thing I know that keeps getting repeated to me is people will say, "You're so young, and you're so young, you'll find someone." And you can talk to these girls and they understand. You don't want to hear that. Like, it doesn't matter that you're so young and you don't want to find someone. You just want your husband back.
You know, we're still in love with them. We're still in our, what some people like to call our puppy dog stage. Puppy love, you know? And so that's what we're going to remember the rest of our lives, is how much we love our husbands. And so that kind of thing, we don't really like to hear that.
We have a MySpace page that it's for American Widow Project, the supporter page, and on there is a list of kind of things not to say, and don't tell us how we feel, because if you haven't gone through it, you don't know. And there's a list on there that's, I don't know, been pretty helpful for my friends and family to understand, because it verbalizes some of the things that I couldn't.
I hate when people are afraid to talk to you about your husband.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing ever. I love my husband. I'll never stop, and I'll never be ashamed or afraid to talk about him.
You want to talk
I
about
want
him.
to talk
It makes
about him.
you
I
feel
want people
better.
to know.
And it's okay if it makes you cry. Like, don't
need
think you
that
don't want
sometimes.
to. Don't think I don't want to talk about him because it makes me cry. I want to talk about him, and it's okay to shed some tears.
Now, you talked about surfing this weekend, and that's one of the reasons why you came to LA. But can you talk about the weekend as a whole, and kind of the retreat atmosphere that you have here?
We've kind of, after the first event, we realized that we don't need counselors or seminars or little how-to books. We need real-life situations, usually doing things that we know we would love to do with our husbands. This weekend we've gone surfing. We even went to Arlington West. And it really brings together what the AWP is all about, is enjoying our life for our husbands, but in the midst of that, working through the grief and working through the pain and not trying to pretend like it never happened. At least that's what it was for me.
And it's okay to be happy around these women. Sometimes at home you feel a little awkward because, people look at you kind of funny if you're having a lot of fun, because they're like, oh, maybe she's done grieving. But you're not. You have a moment of happiness. And with all these girls, it's okay. And we're not all doom and gloom. We're about going out there and living and enjoying still.
Yeah, for me, my husband and I he had gotten sick, and so we made a list. We made a list of things we wanted to do together, and one of them was surfing. And so I went out there and I did the best I could, because it's something that we were going to do together. And so I see the AWP as my link to doing all those things that I was going to do with my husband. But we went out and had fun, and I can check that off my list.
Anything else anyone's taken from the group and the depth and array of experiences that are here? Things you've learned from one another?
All of us are just at different levels. Like, there are some, some of us that are going to school. Some of the girls are pregnant, and so there's somebody that they can talk to about that. Or some of the girls are dating. Some of the girls don't want to. There's always someone in the group for everyone to connect with, I think.
All facets.
So what's the future of the American Widow Project?
I just I see this going everywhere.
It's getting big.
What we have planned right now is the tour. We purchased an old RV, and we're just basically waiting on the military to give us the okay to go base to base and show the documentary. And we want CAOs to see it. We want anybody who knows somebody or just wants to have a better understanding of the other side of the sacrifice, who wants to have a better understanding other than 7 killed on their local news, who wants to know the women behind that number who were married and are still married to these men.
Yeah. Ladies, I want to thank you on behalf of all the staff here at In Their Boots for being in the studio here today, for sharing your stories, and for the work that you're doing around the country with other widows. Your courage and the strength you guys possess is inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on this special segment of In Their Boots.
So we try to do unconventional things, and we're in LA, and surfing just seemed to, meet that criteria. I always like when I can do things that Michael's done that maybe I haven't done, because then I can relate to him more, and it's really cool to relate to Michael even after everything that's happened.
It's about still finding a way to have fun while our husbands, even though our husbands are gone, finding a way to still live.